right back behind it, you have a building with some funky curving white balconies. These curving white balconies make it look as though a wave of water is cascading down the side of that building. That is very fittingly Aqua Tower. Aqua Tower was completed in 2010, designed by Studio Gang. This was Jeannie Gang's first addition to the Chicago skyline. This was the tallest building in the world designed by a woman until Jeannie Gang came in and upset herself. Aqua Tower is also hotel and residential. Each of those curving white balconies is entirely geometrically unique. No two of them are the same. So there's a couple things. Number one, it cuts the wind, makes the balconies more comfortable in temperature for more months of the year. Those mathematically unique balconies also allow you to lean over and talk to your upstairs and downstairs neighbors. Tiny little people leaning around and talking to their friends were featured in all of the renderings of the building. Aqua Tower also made a memorable appearance in the pilot of Ozone. Straight ahead of us, a little bit to the right, you have a white building, looks like a wedding cake with a clock tower up at the top. This is the Wrigley Building. The Wrigley Building was constructed to be the Wrigley Candy Company's headquarters. It was completed in two fell swoops. The first tower, the one with the clock, in 1921. Second tower in 1924. This building is designed in a style called Spanish Revival. Revival is styles harken back to ancient cultures or eras in history in order to honor them and bring them back to life. The Wrigley Building is specifically modeled after the Herald Tower. The Wrigley Building, it is surfaced with 250,000 glazed terracotta tiles. They are very delicate, as am I. They have to be hand washed once a year, as do I. These tiles, they come in 6 different shades. They start a little bit darker at the building's base, gradually get lighter as you go up toward the top, just to naturally draw your eye up to the clock. I'm very often asked about the little footbridge between the two towers. That little footbridge is not original to its design. It was added in 1931. People always expect a super interesting story about that little footbridge, and you know what? It is a super interesting story. If you are interested in bank, branch, laws, you've got people from the same bank working in both towers. In order to be one bank branch, had to add the footbridge between the two. Really stuff. Above our heads, the DuSable Bridge at Michigan Avenue, named for our city's founder, Jean Baptiste DuSable. It was right here in the 1780s, and he operated his trading post. This was the world's first double-decker drawbridge. As of this summer, it is 102 years old. Straight ahead of us, you can see the second tallest building on the Chicago skyline today, and that is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. This building is from 2009. It was designed by Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith started his career here in Chicago, working at Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, before he went on to design the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which is currently the tallest building on the planet. The Burj Khalifa is about as tall as if you took two of these and stacked them directly on top of each other. This building is designed in a style called contextualism. It's in conversation with its context or location. Notice the 3 patio setbacks as you go up the side of the building. Each of these patio setbacks matches the height of an iconic structure nearby. First patio matches the height of the Wrigley Building behind it. Second patio matches the height of the Mather Tower, which is the rocket ship-shaped building over on the other side of the boat. Third patio matches the height of the AMA Plaza, which is the black box building coming up right next door. It's Adrian Smith's way of recognizing that he could not have put this building in this spot without the others that were around it first, acknowledging that architectural history of Chicago. Next, on the right, the AMA Plaza, this black box building. This was completed in 1973 as the IBM building, designed by another very famous global architect, the German-born Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe is considered the father of modernism. Modern-style architecture looks just like this, just the skeletal structure of the building's design. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe believed very strongly that the beauty of the building lies in the mathematics and the precision of the engineering. So why would you want to cover that up with any kind of decorative details? Next, on the right, are some of the most heavily photographed structures in our city. These are the twin curving waterfront-shaped towers in the city. The twin curving corn-cob-shaped towers of Marina City. Marina City, again, it's an entire complex completed in 1967, designed by a student of Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. His name was Bertrand Goldberg. This entire complex was so space, and a place to park your boat. Ahead of us on the right, you have a low-lying red brick building, another clock tower up at the top of this one. This is the Reed Murdoch building from 1914. It is one interpretation of prairie-style architecture. Prairie-style architecture is marked by long horizontal lines, solid construction, and integration with the natural local landscape. The most famous interpretation of prairie-style architecture is the portfolio of Frank Lloyd Wright. Unfortunately, there's no Frank Lloyd Wright for me to show you on the river. I still highly encourage you to take a trip to Oak Park where you can tour his home and studio. I will impart just one Frank Lloyd Wright fact since we're here. That's the fact that he shared his son-in-law with Joseph Stalin. Both men had daughters at one point, married to an architect named William Wesley Peters. Both of their daughters were named Svetlana. And a Frank Lloyd Wright fun fact. This building is also asymmetrical. It was shaved and was replaced in 1930 to make space for LaSalle Street to get wider. Across the water from the Reed Murdoch building is the present-day River Theater portion of the Riverwalk. However, it's also a pretty somber Chicago landmark. This is actually the site of the deadliest maritime disaster in Great Lakes history. On the morning of July 24, 1915, 2,500 employees and family members of the Western Electric Company were boarding the SS Eastland in this spot. They were headed to a company picnic in Michigan City, Indiana. The boat was very top-heavy with extra lifeboats per regulations set in place following the Titanic sinking 3 years earlier. Ballast tank stabilization efforts failed, and the boat actually tipped on its side during boarding, trapping over 800 people below. A 20-year-old named George Hallis was ticketed and supposed to be on board the Eastland. His body was never recovered, and he was reported deceased in the papers. When a couple of his friends dropped by the house to pay their respects, they were very surprised when George himself answered the door. He said, "Oh, George, we thought you were a goner." He said, "Oh, no, I've been delayed, so I didn't bother to show." Which is great, because George Hallis went on to found and own the Chicago Bears. Ahead of us, on the right, just after the next bridge, you have a giant limestone building. It's a big cream-colored building. This giant limestone building is called Merchandise Mart. Merchandise Mart was constructed in 1930 as the wholesale warehouse for the Marshall Fields department store. At that time in 1930, this was the largest building on the planet in terms of square footage. The building is enormous. It's over 4.2 million square feet of space inside. At different points throughout history, Merchandise Mart has had its own zip code, 60654, its own fire station. To this day, it has its own public transit train stop. The building is designed in a style called Art